Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Under the Sun. Um, I guess before we get into the topic, let's just check in with people. How's everyone doing? Well, don't
Fine.
all talk at once.
I'm doing good. Uh, yeah, been super busy, and I just did three things after work. So now, it's been a busy day, a busy work day, and then a busy after work day. Just started my meeting with some people in Europe, so it started super early.
Hmm. How are you, Debbie?
Busy. It was a busy day for me too. Lots of stuff going on, and I'm just even before I got on here. Like I said, I was doing the research for this Stockdale thing, but I also have my for my classes. I was looking at charts that I gave for homework, and I'm like, yeah, I got to look at these charts before I do my class. But it's just been busy, just lots of stuff going on. So
Hmm.
yeah.
How are you, Jenna?
I'm doing good. I might be a little bit manic, and I'm like checking in with myself, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is, because I feel like I've been like this and this and this, and but I'm vibing with it, so that's good.
Is your microphone like on your pants or something?
Is it better now?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
The book was on top of my computer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you?
Andy,
oh,
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am learning to rock my new platforms. I'm having a blast on Reddit. I posted a question on a forum and it blew up like my Facebook used to blow up because like I learned a lot from running the Facebook forum for 15 years. I learned what makes gets people talking and stuff. So like basically I'm bringing that into Reddit and we're all starting to find where we are on my repressed page. So we're all starting to chit chat, and it's like I don't know, things are starting to feel like kind of like they did on that side of things. And then I was reading this book about expressing your life to the fullest, and it was talking about I'm not reading on the fear chapter, and she was like talking about some of the main fears people have, and she's like fear of loss. And she's like, a loss is actually a gain. Like, so she was like, a loss, what did she say? Like, loss is actually an illusion because every loss is a gain. And it's just like crazy because I do feel like by losing Facebook, I gained something because like Reddit will get like 3,000 views on a question. Like, it's like a whole sea of people doing astrology. I don't know. It's like, I feel like I gained the world by losing Facebook. So I'm
Don't
having,
you think all that energy from Pisces going into Aries is kind of like resonates with that kind of energy, you know? Let's wrap this up and start something new, you know?
you know, I lost it when the moon, Saturn, Neptune were conjunct at zero Aries in my 11th. Okay, sorry, Jay-Z.
No, no, I was gonna say it's super Aquarian too. It's like Pluto and Aquarius because like on Facebook, it was people had to be subscribed to you to see and read the stuff that you've posted to your page. But on Reddit, you don't even have to have a Reddit account to read the threads.
Oh, wow.
So it's like it's opened up from people who one have accounts on Facebook and two are within your sphere already, your world already, to the entire world.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, it's cool that, like, Debbie, you made a profile, not to make this all about this transition we're going through, but it is a transition. But it's cool because Debbie, like, you made your Astrolinus profile and then you posted your face paints there, and I was able to go to your page and see it just like old times. And I was like, oh my God, this is getting pretty normal, you know?
And I got my 8 ball.
You got your 8 ball, that's part of your clown persona?
Yes, yeah, that's going to be my part of my character. So you know, whatever way well, the script is going to say how it's going to go, but I will be the one that everybody will ask questions, and I have my oracle, which is my magic 8 ball.
Whoa.
You have a direct connection to source.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love
just
that.
thought it was cute.
I noticed on Reddit too that so one of the astrologers, like in a board, someone was asking a question. They were like, "Well, I saw a TikTok astrologer say this," and people were like, "TikTok astrologers are BS." Like it was very like, "We're the real deal." So I was like, "Okay."
Oh my God. Jen, I was going to ask you something. Sorry, I lost it. Darn it. was going to ask you something. It was something about how's something going. I don't know.
My
Sorry.
diamond painting, it's going horribly.
Oh, is it? That was not what I was going to ask you. I can't.
Oh, it was going great the last I saw it. You were really,
Then it's going great.
yeah.
Why is it going horribly?
So usually when I have anything that's like an exacting craft project, my detrimental Venus is like, like I'm in Virgo. This is not good. This is not good enough. So I'm like learning to just be okay with the process. I'm trying. I realized when I went to a crystal wire wrapping like relaxation night and I was like, and then the people around me were kind of like, what is wrong with this lady? And then I was like, oh, this is upsetting me.
Oh
So
my.
I'm trying to let go.
Wow. You know, Angeline got her teeth removed, and I was like, "What are you going to do with those?" And she's like, "I'm going to wire wrap them." So
Oh wow. Cool.
I love that.
wondering if she was going to make jewelry out of her teeth, but it's the wire. Oh, Jenna, I know what I was going to say. Wasn't that crazy yesterday when on the Ricky live stream the YouTube police showed up?
That was so funny. Yes, it was so
What
funny.
And I was like, I guess the FBI's over here, and me and Ricky are both like, hi. Like Ricky's totally used to the FBI thing because he's just like, hi, how's it going?
Well, so it was this commenter named YouTube Police 29.
Oh yes, yes. Oh yeah.
And he wasn't in on the joke because he was new. So we were like, well, Andy's like, the FBI is here, and he's like, I'm not affiliated with the FBI. Blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like you'd say if you were anyway, like, you know.
I know we became more.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was awesome. He was so funny. I was interested to see if he'd show up to other stuff. So we'll see. But
I know you
She
guys-
did.
He did. He showed up to show your work.
yeah.
Yeah.
I briefly talked to him then too.
Yeah.
Am I dating the police? I go to events with the police.
You and him were just having your own like situation over there, and it's like that's what I love about live streaming. Is like you never know who's going to show up. You really don't.
It was funny because we would say something about what you guys were talking about, and then we'd go off on a tangent. And I was like, they're never going to see our comments that have anything to do with what they're saying, but whatever.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that episode with Ricky because I tried the Face Your Giants with Billy, and that was a kind of a tough episode for me. But like with Ricky, because he's faced like a million giants, I thought that was really interesting. I won't perseverate on that topic anymore, but what a good topic. I love it.
You know, if you want to perseverate, if you decide to go back on that, Kimber would be awesome. Like even if you and Kimber did like a jam together on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just because she seems so, I think it's like her very strong Mercury plus her Scorpio. Like she just like really likes to dissect things like that and like get to the bottom of like, what is a giant? Like we were even texting. There were like many convos going on and we're like this. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I love like with the YouTube police showing up and then saying he's not the police or this and that. I'm like, who sent you? Like, come on.
Well, we're gonna host his retirement party. I offered that. So
Did you go look at his
How do we
channel?
know the YouTube police is a he?
That's true.
that is a good question. Well, we went to his channel and he's definitely masculine or male presenting, but
Oh, you went to their channel. Okay, or his.
I didn't look for any defining pronouns. But yeah,
What's his channel?
YouTube Police 29.
Oh my god, I'm gonna look it up right now.
He followed you. He has another channel too. It was like some B. It was like B something, and also ended in 29. He was like jamming on the 29 thing. He was in sales for 29 years, and I kept being like, "Can we talk about your Saturn and your Saturn's return and how much you like Saturn?"
Oh.
Wait, so he has stuff like clever license plates, interesting pieces, good times, Lula Bell. So do we see him in any of these videos? Oh, answers about I think he's a guy. I think he's right here.
He said he does 4 things: eat, sleep, YouTube, and eat out.
Yeah, because he works like 90 hours a week.
I'm
Oh,
assuming he meant the G-rated version of that, but I think he was he was being naughty. I'm not really sure.
Oh, I didn't pick
what do
up
you
on
mean?
that till you explained it right now.
I still didn't pick up on it.
What?
We are the processing disorder column of the life. Oh, he's a hoot. Should we dive in?
All right, let's do it. Let's get Stockdale.
So, do you want me to explain it for the audience at least? I liked your quote that you put in the thumbnail that kind of explained it. But
Well, you have to explain it for us too, because we really don't
And
understand it.
it's called the Stockdale Paradox.
yeah, so it's basically saying that like it's okay to like think positively and have this like unwavering faith that things will work out, while also recognizing that when we place some sort of arbitrary, it has to be by this point, or if I just make it to this point, like it that actually doesn't work in our favor. And it was named after somebody from the military who was taken prisoner of war, and his name was Stockdale, and it was during Vietnam, and it was like awful torture situation, and he just told himself like, I will survive this. And there were a lot of other prisoners of war that came in that were like, we're going to be home by Christmas, they're going to get us out, like all this stuff. And then those people would end up not making it because they had this like deadline in their mind, and when that came and went, they became so depressed and disheartened that it was hard for them to stay positive after that, and the life force energy of them kind of just like dwindled under the torture. Whereas this man was a prisoner for 7 years and he did get out. So it said, I pulled a little quote from Jim Collins' book, The Stockdale Paradox. It says, you must never, ever, ever confuse the need on one hand for absolute unwavering faith that you can prevail despite those constraints, with the need, on the other hand, for the discipline to begin confronting the brutal facts, whatever they are. And then it said, as the example, we're not getting out by Christmas. So, like, don't gaslight yourself into toxic positivity was kind of like the way I was thinking about it.
So I have an example of this. So I think I did pretty good with this with the wisdom teeth thing. So there was a point where my kid was like, I feel hot and feverish. I think I might have an infection and all this kind of stuff. And I did not say, you don't have an infection. You'll be fine. You know, I definitely held space like, you're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. We're just walking through this. And you may have an infection. If you do, the steps we will take are XYZ. We will go to the emergency room. We'll get you IV antibiotic. Like basically, like I didn't do the Pollyanna thing of like everything will be fine. You won't have an infection. This and that. Like I didn't do that, but I had faith like you will get through this. And though, like I was always like very realistic about the things that could happen. You know, like the like, oh no, what, I might get dry socket. I wasn't like, you're not going to get dry socket. I was like, okay, let's talk about worst case scenario, dry socket. What are we going to do? And I was like, all right, okay, in that case, we would do this. We would go, you know, so it's like, I think, I don't know if this is an example of what you're talking about, but I definitely didn't sugarcoat the experience. And I looked at everything like very much like, all right, we might walk through dry socket and we're going to get through the, you know, it's like a yes and thing. I don't know. Is that is that an example of that?
I definitely think yes. And I also think that if you had said something like, don't worry, you'll be better tomorrow, that would have again been like the kind of like, oh, we shouldn't say that, because when she wakes up the next day, say she didn't feel better, or even in her mind, if she had this expectation of the level of better that she should feel at that point, and if she didn't reach that, it could be so disheartening that it almost makes her sicker.
Well, okay, so I have another example of this. Sorry if I'm over talking you guys. All right, I'll just go with it. So, in manifestation theory, you have to get the right manifestation picture, because if you don't, it can deflate your spirit, which actually it works against manifestation, because then your chakras stop spinning. And like it's like, how do you keep your chakras spinning through trying to manifest something with the face of like negative things happening? Like for example, I was like gonna manifest like selling a bunch of books, and I was like, should I tried the picture, I'm gonna sell 1,000 books next year, I'm gonna sell 1,000 books next year. And I decided against that picture because if I didn't feel like I was selling 1,000 books, I would have been hyper deflated that my manifestation wasn't happening, which would then have like worked against my manifestation. And so like you have to be careful what picture you use in making happen. So we decided in the picture the books are flying off the shelf because we decided on that one because every time a book sold, we could be like, see, the books are flying off the shelf. Like, and that was a positive feedback loop on that picture, but like you have to be careful with pictures that have a possibility for deflation or negation.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I was going to ask about what's that line between positive, toxic positivity and, where do you draw the line, or where do you give up? I mean, you can't give up either, though. I don't think you could ever give up on any situation like that. I mean, because your life is at stake.
Well, I think that's why this is a paradox is like how do you have unwavering faith in the face of possible setbacks?
Mm.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and I think though the people did give up, and that's when they died or didn't make it through, right? So yeah, I think even if your life is at stake, if your spirit gets crushed, then you won't continue living. You'll give up.
Mhm.
I was thinking of that very same example, Andy, about it in those same terms in manifestation. That I like the way that you said that like if the reality keeps supporting the picture that you're drawing and doesn't go against it, then you can continue having your belief, your faith and belief.
I like framing it too as like the short term versus the long term, because they say the long term is optimism and the short term is where you put the realism. So like the positivity plus realism, the positivity you really want to focus on
Mm.
like the long run. So like the books are flying off the shelf is very much that's a positive, and there's no deadline on it. It's long term, like all of that. And then the realism space for it, I would just say, is the plan of saying like this is how I'm going to affirm it when in reality, in the here and now, in the short term, I see it. Oh, it happened. I'm affirming that. You know what I mean?
Hey JC, this sounds like lead measures and lag measures.
Oh yeah, yeah, I guess it does. It
Can I
does.
explain that what that is?
Mm.
Yeah, so there's like a leading indicator. So say for example, like you want to, I don't know, lose weight. And so say you weigh yourself every day. Well, you don't really have control. If you're using your weight as the measure of your success, then like your weight can be influenced by a whole bunch of different things. But if instead you use something that you actually have control over, of like, I'm going to count how many calories I intake, or maybe this is a bad example, but like there's something that you can control, and then there's something that you cannot control in a direct way. And so you got to measure the things that you are in control of, knowing that in the long run, what you're trying to make happen will happen.
So, like in the case of the Stockdale experiment, okay, so the lag measure, which is the thing that is like that I get out or whatever. It's like I'm succeeding if I get out of here. Well, they don't have control over getting out of there because because someone else is in control of that. So the lead measure is: did I put one foot in front of the other today? Did I keep my head up today? Like those are the things you can't. Those are the things that lead that like that I don't know. Well, maybe that's not a good example too, but it's like there's different measurements. Like here's an example: in you making YouTube videos, you're gonna say, "I'm gonna grow my YouTube channel." Okay, well, you can make a video, and there's certain things you can control. Did you make the video? Did you edit it? Did you post it on time? The lag measure is how many people viewed it. So if you measure your success on views, you will get deflated and your spirit will die because views will go up, they'll go down. You have no control over views. But Jenna showed up. She did her thing today on time to what she had scheduled. That's the lead measure. And we can say you are successfully building your YouTube channel if you look at the lead measure, which is what you have control over. But don't look at that lag measure of numbers because you'll get deflated and your spirit will die. Is that it, Jay Z?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting too because it's called lag and lead. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That feels almost more like actionable, where the Stockdale is like mental. That's just one comparison of them, but I really like that, and there's a challenge built into that where it's like I did do the lead of showing up and doing things on time and everything, but then I also could have done more and advertised or put it up earlier or cross posted it with like, we don't stream to Instagram or Reddit or anything, but I could have said something on there about like, hey, this is happening on YouTube. Boom. So just calling myself out. Don't mind me.
Well, I think it's like what this the lesson in this is there can be disappointing or hard things that we face. But if we set ourselves up for like mental it's like that mental attitude thing of like how do you face the hard things. If you face it by saying that's a false promise, we'll be out of here by Christmas, is a false promise that you have no control over, and so you're basically setting your happiness based on something you cannot control. In Stoicism, they say that a virtuous life comes from setting your happiness only on things you can control. If you say the shape of my ear will be better by Christmas, the shape of my beard, well, you can't control the shape of your ear, so they would say that that's setting you up for failure, right? So that's actually creating a depressing life. But if you said like I'm going to clean my ear on Christmas, I'm going to clean my ear on Christmas, and you do, then you're happy. Like so, it's like you're basically not supposed to attach to anything you can't control, according to Stoicism.
It's kind of Buddhist too, because there are no expectations, and even if you make that statement that I'm going to do this by Christmas or whatever, and it doesn't happen, it's like it's okay.
I love that. I was thinking that too, Debbie.
There's an acceptance to that it's like, okay, well, that didn't work, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give up. There's days ahead, whatever, you just keep going until you get to where you need to be, or you die. That's
the Buddhist lesson of non-attachment. Like if you got attached to leaving by Christmas and you put all your hope on that and you're attached to that, they say it's called clinging. Like when you cling to that, then that's the suffering. But in the Buddhist sense, if you said, I think we'll get out by Christmas, but you're not clinging to that, then you don't suffer in that.
Exactly.
So Buddhism's almost like taking the Stockdale Paradox to the next level. Because like there's still that attachment to the eventual long-term optimism with the Stockdale Paradox. But then with Buddhism, it's kind of like non-attachment, period. So then it's like not that someone's be Zen.
It's a paradox to the paradox.
We're layering paradox. What's the plural?
Paradoxes.
Paradoxes.
Paradox. A murder of paradoxes.
But it's true too. I believe like that it takes it to the level of it doesn't matter if you get out of the prisoner of war camp or not. Like, because you're just living your life one day at a time. And then, so to be, to live a life in the camp, you're still free as long as you are breathing and your heart is beating,
Well, let's do a real life modern example. When you're single and you want a partner and you're kind of in this thing of you're like, you have to have faith, like, I will find a partner. I will find a partner. I will find somebody. And then you date somebody and it doesn't work out. And you date somebody and it doesn't work out. And you date, and if you're like, this next one, it's going to be it. This next one is going to be it. That's like, then you get deflated when that's not it, and you're just like, oh my god, no, no, it like kills the faith. Like, so I think that's an example of like you can hold space, like I will find a partner, this will happen, but you got to be careful about how you think about it as you're going through to keep the hope alive through setbacks, and that's what this paradox is, I think, looking at.
That's really a great example, because when we have somebody in our life or can imagine somebody who's like, oh, this is the partner, this is it, and then it's not, and it keeps breaking, what ends up happening is if you're so past oriented and focused on the failures, your energy, your mind, what you're actually manifesting is the next failure rather than, you know what I mean?
Mm.
I went through that. I divorced my first husband, and I thought I would meet somebody almost immediately. It took over 10 years before I would. So here's the thing. So, I was dating and and they were all failures and everything. And then the one guy that I really fell in love with, he died. And I'm like, you know what? I started looking around. And I said, you know what? I'm doing pretty good by myself. Do I need a partner? Do I really need a partner? And I started to redirect my brain thinking, you know what? I'm okay. And then I met John. It's kind of weird that way, but sometimes you have to redirect like that. It becomes almost an obsession at one point, I think, when you start thinking that way, like, yes, okay, I'm going to make this happen. Okay, it's not working. I'm going to make this happen. No, it's not. I'm going to make this work. Then you just like, whew, okay, enough of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to start thinking in a different way. You have to shift your paradigm. You have to shift and think, okay, what are my other options here?
So, like, okay, is this? Oh, go ahead, Jay-Z.
Well, I gotta say that I'm in the middle of all of this right
That's why I
now.
used it as an example.
You guys are talking about this like hypothetically because you all have partners. And I definitely don't, and I am in that, and I can tell you it is difficult, and I try to tell myself like, oh, it doesn't matter, and like it's actually fine, and then I'm like, well, I'm just trying to tell myself that actually. And it is actually, I think, experientially, it is hard for me anyway, in this kind of situation. And I go through the like, oh, all right, it's not gonna happen unless I put effort into it. So I'll put effort into like being on the apps and trying to date people or trying to find someone to date or whatever. But it just seems that's very difficult. And then I pendulum over to the like, oh, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm fine by myself. Side, and then I don't really believe that, but then I'm kind of over there, and then I pendulum back to like, all right, I'm gonna give this another try. And yeah, but it is true too that like in the meantime, my life is fine, my life is great, my life is friends and family and like doing things, and I don't know why I feel this compulsion to want a partner, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this is where we're getting, this is advanced manifestation theory. So this is why it's like a brain bender, and we're all like kind of bending our brain, which is good to do when you're like kind of like have a 400 brain, which is like moves 400% faster than a normal brain. Is like give yourself a really hard problem like this. But I will say, Jay-Z, like we had, okay, like let's try to, okay, have faith that you will get a partner. That's to have the faith that we will get out of this situation, right? But like how we keep tweaking how we're thinking about it along the way to get there happily, right? And it's like what about a manifestation like I enjoy the adventure of each new development, right? Like that's like the Posicore kind of thing. um like I don't know, like what can we, how can we merge the short term and long term and allow for ups and downs? You know what I mean? Like what do you guys think? What is the manifestation picture that can make this work for Jay-Z?
What if the focus is not on the kind of binary or the spectrum of either I'm looking for a partner or I need to be happy alone? Like, what if instead we just like focus energy somewhere else and this becomes compartmentalized or something? I'm just thinking because I
That's
have,
what I did. That's what I
yeah,
did. Yeah,
because
that's what
the
I did.
partner is waiting in a different space, whether that's a physical space or a head space or an energy space. There's something where it's like the mind needs to go to that next level for that like string theory, that like person to come in. I said this recently to a friend who has a chart that is very much promising of a relationship, and it's been a long journey. And I said, I think it's you need to go into these ninth house spaces and like stop focusing on seventh house spaces, go to the ninth house spaces. So it's almost like where in your chart even is the overlap of relationship with something else. And those spaces might actually have that person. Cause like maybe Jay-Z, your person isn't on an app. That's just not their vibe. That's not where they would be. They would be at this yoga studio, but since you're at home on the app, you're not at the yoga. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What I did when I was single, and I was single for 5 years. I did have a boyfriend in between for like a year, but it didn't work out. But like I would mix going out into public, like in to going to my local pub or whatever, and like meeting people there. And then when I would date guys from there and it didn't work, then I would go back home and go on the app. That's how I met Shane. Is I was dating this firefighter, and he was just terrible. I hated dating him. Like, and he's my astro twin too. But we dated for a few months, but like, ugh, like even try to be his friend now, and just like, ugh, he's like the same kind of annoying. But anyway, we I was on this one app which was geek2geek.com, and when that firefighter didn't work, I went back on the app and I messaged 5 people. Like I looked at it very, and I really I manifested people like I'm going to find a partner. I do better in partnership. I love partnership because people always are like I'm an island, I'm fine alone, but they say that what you talk about is what you manifest. So I was like, I'm not manifesting being alone. I'm not doing that. Like, so I would say like but yeah, I mean, but I had to go back to the app like 10 times to then eventually find Shane. Like I tried it, dated guys, there's 4 monthers, they didn't work. It's like all of us have been where Jay-Z was. I mean, not you, Jenna, because you went from one to another, but
I'm
uh,
nodding, pretending.
yeah. But
I was single for a month when I was 22. So I have a little, and before that,
Months. Wow.
age 14 and under.
Oh.
wow.
I know. It's bad. But I remember that month, Jay-Z.
It was the longest month of your life.
Yeah.
No, I honestly have this like vivid memory of one day in my kitchen being like, oh my God, I can do whatever I want today.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no one's here. I have no one to report to. And then I was like, gotta get someone to report to. Let's go do that.
JC, that is really one of the best parts of being single is like you don't have to, like, oh, okay, they want to do this and I really want to do something else. Or, like I have a yoga thing tonight. You didn't tell me about we were inviting people over. You don't have to worry about that. It's kind of like you have your own life and you have a good life. So, especially with you have Aries rising, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Me and
yeah,
Jen.
yeah. You want to be able to have your freedom to do like I want to do what I want to do. That's it.
Oh
And
yeah.
so and that's good.
Well, yeah, this is another thing people do when there's a hard thing. Like if they were in Stockdale, they would be like, "Well, what's good about being in here is that we get free food." And like, no, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of ways to get through an experience, but I mean, the let's talk about the unwavering faith that it will work out. Like, where does that come from? And is that even a good idea? Like, maybe they shouldn't have been thinking about getting out at all. Maybe they should have just looked at where they were. Like, maybe Jay-Z shouldn't be thinking about the day he has a partner. Maybe like the focus should not be about that. Like, is there anything there like of not focusing on getting out of your situation and focusing on the joys of your current situation. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of weird because also the Stockdale thing is like they were being tortured every day, like so that I
Yeah.
guess would make you want to get out of that situation, right? So it's more a stick than a carrot, I'd say.
Mm.
That is different. It is amazing. So the Stockdale people was anybody interviewed afterwards to say how did they handle that? How did they deal with that when they
Yes, the Stockdale guy.
it was just him.
The book that was written, I need to find his first name, but the book that was written about him was all about like that idea that he was the only one that lasted, and it was a long time. Like anyone else that was rescued, that was way shorter amount of time that they had survived. So it was kind of like, what made you different? And this was what he identified. But then at the same time, there's the aspect of like, his name is James Stockdale. They have his chart, and they were talking about in his chart using his grand trine. His grand trine is a earth grand trine. No, water grand trine. And he was using it as like a defense mechanism, it was saying, like an emotional defense mechanism to not get swept away in the negativity of his environment.
But do you have his chart? Do you know what I would love to know what his chart is so we could see it and see what it is, oh my God. So like, when we talk about that, so he probably has a strong will. So I'm thinking, is the time right? So you can see what his fifth house is, what's ruling his fifth house, what's ruling his first house, what's ruling all the firehouse signs.
We don't have a time, unfortunately. It's not timed. It's just a date.
But you have the planets, and at least they're in signs. There has to be some strong, constitution in his whole makeup of his chart, I would think.
I mean, he has Mars in Scorpio and Saturn in Scorpio, and then he has Pluto and Moon together in Cancer. However, that could be wrong-ish. And then he has Uranus in Pisces. So they're like saying that this is kind of like this powerful water grand trine. And it's a book about trans-Neptunian objects, so it's talking about the kite that's made with Orcus, and the fact that like that Orcus like is about power and control, and he used it to kind of manipulate the situation and be like, I am in control of this situation through this. Like they were framing it as a kite is like an aspect of awareness, the aspect of awareness being that Orcus. So he's acutely aware of that power dynamic, and then he can lean into the defense mechanism of the grand trine. And water, so emotion. So like Uranus, he's able to withstand the shock. Pluto, he's able to withstand being controlled and being overpowered. And then Mars, it's like, granted, he's being attacked by all of this energy, but he's like able to emotionally kind of put up this barrier, is what it was saying.
Is the Pluto retrograde?
I can check, because 1923, December 23rd. Yes, it is. Look at you.
So now Dr. H, I follow this guy. He's a brilliant researcher, and he talks about the outer planets, and when they are in retrograde, they act like the opposite side. The opposite. So that would be Pluto in Capricorn then.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, one of the things I want to say about him, the chart, is that I don't think it's just his mind frame that made him survive. I mean, I think some people have a stronger constitution than others, and it's like his Mars in Scorpio makes him strong. The Moon Pluto conjunction makes him strong. Like so, the Grand Trine makes him strong. Like and kind of easeful in his way of handling hard situations. I mean. We see that with Jay-Z and his kite. It's like he's easeful in handling his hard situation. He's not sitting there like, God, God, I hate being single, and like, what the f, and like he doesn't do that. He just like calmly like it's like I think I guess yeah, I don't think it's just the way he was thinking that makes it that he
Mhm.
survived.
He also has Jupiter in Sagittarius, and it's squaring his nodes. And so, at least in evolutionary astrology, we talk about how, like, this is a very important thing for you to get right in this lifetime. This was the thing that went wrong in the last lifetime. You have to do this. So, it's like keeping the faith, it naturally helped him to move to his actualization. So, I like
Yeah.
how you brought that up.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It's really neat. Now I'm like, what transits is he under that we're discussing him? That's kind of
If we're done with this, we can always pull a dictionary word if you guys want to move on to a different.
Oh yeah, we could do that. I
I
have
got
to
my
get.
dictionary.
That it is. I agree with you, Andy. It's interesting about his chart, and it's like, is it this chart helped develop this attitude that he has, or is it like that his chart would have gotten him through no matter the attitude, or like maybe that it's like that itself is somehow tied together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it is also true that I have a grand trine in water, and I will get through my situation as well, I'm sure, with my Mars in Scorpio.
You and James, maybe you need to be no, I can't say that. Imprisoned. No, just kidding.
Anyway, no, I don't need to be imprisoned.
Well, this guy's kite, the sextile point that's opposite one of the kite points is in Taurus, whereas
Oh,
yours
these
is
kites
in
in.
Virgo. So it's
Yeah,
kind of funny to think it's like he's just stuck. Like Taurus can be very like stuck
Mm.
in something or like digging the heels in, and it's like, yep, you were in prison, you were stuck. And
yeah,
it's like Jay-Z, you're like, I'm doing all this work. So like you kind of are doing the right thing.
yeah. That is all very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and to the like, I really like to harp on my opposition to the theory that people with like lots of trines in their charts fall apart at the first sign of problems in their lives. So I'm glad this guy is holding up my side of that argument.
Heck yeah. You
I
can
think
write
people with a lot of trines have an easeful way of dealing with even hard situations. Like they have a lack of internal conflict. So it's like there was probably a lot of people who had a lot of internal conflict over the situation, and he had this weirdly easeful attitude about it. And I think, that could have helped him suffer less.
Hmm.
It's funny thinking about trines as defense mechanisms too, because it was saying when we see a grand trine, we're seeing a classic defense mechanism, a closed circuit of, and so it says for earth, it's practical, or for fire, it's motivational. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally have a closed circuit of motivation. Like either I'm motivated or I'm completely not. And I bet Jay-Z, do you feel like that? So for water, emotional. You're either emotional or you're completely not. Like
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I have a grand trine in water, just FYI.
how do you feel about
Oh
that?
cool.
I also have 3 squares, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm emotional when the transits hit the right planet.
But then sometimes you're just not. Like
I mean, well, sometimes I'm hyper analytical, but that's also in my chart too. So it's cyclical and depends on, like I have a Gemini rising, which is hyper analytical and a lot of air and Libra. So it just depends on, I guess that's a little too general for how specific I watch things. Like it's not just am I emotional or not. It's like exactly what is the emotion, what dermatomes are being ignited. What I mean is it's like I don't know. That's just a little too general. I
you
think.
went very Gemini with it.
Yeah, I do go hyper cerebral a lot in what would other people would do emotional things, but I do that as a coping mechanism for I don't know what it is. It's really it's I don't know. it's hard to generalize when you watch things so specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when someone's like, "Are you sometimes up and sometimes down?" I'm like, "Well, yes, and I can calculate exactly when I'll be up and when I'll be like." It's not. I don't know. I don't like generalities.
Andy, I know what you mean. I tried to take the Myers-Briggs personality test today, and I was like, I am all of the answers at different times. I don't know.
Right, there you go.
And after I took it, it was like, now for your results, please pay $1.99, and I almost lost my mind.
You know, I took a class in that when I worked for Bell Communications, and I have the book. The thing is, I think it depends on your environment where you are. You can, especially if you're in the middle and you're just kind of like shifting over to both sides, that can happen. You know, there are people that are way off on either side of the scales, but if you're near the middle, and you could be, because I'm sometimes an introvert, sometimes I'm an extrovert. Depends on my, my environment that I'm in. You know.
Yeah, and astrology accepts the cyclical fluctuating personality. So like Jen is making the good point of like your Leo sun might be extroverted and your,
In the
Saturn.
12th house, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that might be extroverted in consciousness realms, and no, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, but then like your Virgo rising might be introverted. Like, I mean, like they're both different parts of the personality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can we Can we do a word in the dictionary?
Yeah.
Okay. Pick a page.
Oh, I gotta get hold on.
892.
I don't know if
Oh.
it goes that high. Okay, 892.
Big number. Is that your favorite number, Casey?
No, it was just what came to mind.
Tell me when to stop.
Okay, now.
Pebble. A small round stone, one worn by the action of water. You can pebble leather or a granulated surface. Yeah, okay, let's talk about pebbles. Anyone?
Well, she was also the daughter of Fred and Wilma.
Yeah.
Okay. I have something to say about pebbles.
Yeah.
There's an ancient concept called who's Lil House? Is that Lillian Bennett? Hi, Lillian.
Hello.
Okay, so let's see. There's something called pesos. They're ancient Greek word for pebbles, basically. And what they would do is use them to watch their transits. You know how like a lot of you guys. It's Haskell. Hi, Haskell.
Oh, hey.
Nice.
Nice.
Do you want us to let you in the room, Haskell? You want to get in here? Here, I'll give you the link. But basically, anyway, you know how you guys do magnets to watch your transits? Like you'll have your thing and then you do the magnets around. Well, they would do that with stones, and they call them pesos.
Oh. How about that?
Pesos are also
Get in
money.
here, Haskell. What?
Pesos are also money.
Oh,
Yep.
that's true.
And
What do you guys have to say about pebbles?
I'm trying to find the picture. Jasper drew a guy named Pebbles when he was 6 years old. Here he is. And I was like, I am obsessed with this drawing.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, that is super
And I wanted to get it tattooed on my leg. And the tattoo artist was like, this is a little, well, not that. I said that plus a big like Studio Ghibli scene all up my leg. And they were like, this is a little too intense. So it didn't happen. But I'm getting it one day.
My brother did that. He got a tattoo of it, one of Angeline's drawings on his leg, and it was really freaky because she was 8 years old, and there's like, it's just kind of weird.
Oh, wow.
Skyland does that.
Really?
Lily Lou let their daughter start tattooing on Lily Lou when the daughter was like 2 years old.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. That's the Lily Lou.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any commentary about pebbles?
What came to mind for me was like a pebble in your shoe.
I have a bunch of amethyst pebbles I want to show you now.
I have rocks all over the place.
These are pebbles.
Oh my God, Haskell! What's up, Haskell?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Does everyone know Haskell?
Yes.
Yes. Good to see. I've been in the remediation book club with you, Jenna, I think once.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And hello, everybody else. Good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yay.
Do you have any commentary about pebbles, Haskell? That's what we're talking about.
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
Rolling Stone.
Nice, Rolling Stone magazine. Okay, Jay-Z, I had thought of another conversation we had about pebbles, which was we were talking about living your life to your fullest, and we were talking about making plans in the day. And we talked about how if you had a glass container, your plans in the day are the rocks in a glass, and then you can pour smaller rocks between them, like making a video here or doing like things between your plans, which are smaller rocks. And then between that, you can pour sand, which is like, now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that. Sorry, Debbie.
You got that idea from me.
Really?
I told you about that. And when I did the scan of my living room, and I had that big beacon with the rocks and the sand in it, and what I used that at my wedding. That the rocks really represent how hard life can be sometimes, but there's always space in between that you can pour in if you pour in the love, it'll put everything together. And I had all the children put all our kids, they came in with the sand. We had the beacon there with the rocks, and then they were river rocks, really nice. And then they had this purple sand, and they each poured in the sand into the beacon.
It's so beautiful. Our conversation was totally separate from that. It was like a year before that, but yeah, like that was also a cool pebble story.
The Colosseum and a lot of ancient like Roman structures used a concrete mix that would, like, when it weathered and water would get in, it would harden more, but only with time.
Whoa.
I have one more pebble thing. This is a pebble from the beach in Kalamata, Greece, and it's my my charm for Poseidon.
Wow.
That's
What was
cool.
one of the pebbles that Poseidon didn't tell you to throw back?
Jay-Z, you remembered. Yes, this one I was allowed to take. Poseidon didn't like that I was hoarding all of the rocks on Kalamata Beach. He smited me and took me under the undertow.
And said, "Give me back those pebbles."
Yeah, and then when I got home, he threw me down a flight of stairs and I broke my leg. We have a lovely
Mm-hmm.
All right, does someone else want to do a word?
Pebbles.
Are we done with
that
pebbles?
word, Daisy?
All right, here. Somebody pick. I have a magazine here, and I'll pick a word out of it. Tell me what page. It's not that thick of a magazine.
27.
That's my lucky number, Debbie.
27. Okay. And ready? Tell me when to stop.
Now.
All right, that was the word images, video, and audio. The phrase.
Is it hyphenated?
No. I mean, it was really the word audio, but the sentence talks about highly convincing images, videos, and audio.
Haskell, do you have any commentary about this?
So were you doing it from a dictionary?
Yeah.
Andy? Yeah, that's how I've usually done this, but I like the magazine thing, and I'm like looking at my library like, oh, like really like open to what signs you're looking for. So that's cool. Yeah. Like a magazine I would not have thought.
Yeah, in this show on Thursdays, we just talk about anything and everything. It's like a random content generation show, so
Zany.
however we get it.
Zany. That's a good word.
So what do you guys think about about audio and image content?
What?
That's my
Okay,
that's the
Oh, good.
So that's the kind of joke that gets more funny with time every time also. But like my audiologist or my grandma is having like audiologist issues, or like it's getting worse and worse. She's like 95, so of course it is, but I think also the audio versus the visual right now with the astrology of like Mercury retrograde audio, and then maybe like the ice commercial that was like the Saturn Neptune conjunction thing, that was like that's the day I saw it on CNN, that was like very 1984. I think it's very, very much like, trust not maybe what you're seeing right now in the air.
Nice. You're a comedian. You do stand up comedy, don't you?
Yeah.
Can we see it somewhere? Is it online? I want to watch it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube. I have some stuff that's what I don't have and like filmed as much is like sometimes astrology, but also tarot on stage. Like like okay, like who needs a message and like that kind of stuff. And that's really where it's kind of like improv work. You know what I mean? Where I have stand up bits and like stories or that kind of thing. But like the more off the cuff is more. It's more audio visual live.
I love stand up. Oh, that's so cool.
So I do have something to say about this because I made 3 versions of the show your stash video today. I made the long talking 17-minute version, which is less magical but more informative, and then I made the time lapse with music, which was more magical because it's not talking. I don't know if you guys. I was wondering if you guys think time lapses with music are more magical than talking videos, and then I made the 1-minute Reddit version. So that was 3 versions of the same video. But would you guys think that time lapses with music are more magical than talking videos?
Explain what that means. I'm not sure if I know what that means.
Well, like, so I showed my stash of beads, and I was like, "This beads are from here." And I did a talking video that's 17 minutes long of me showing all my beads, and then I did one that was just you just saw me showing my beads with music. And
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's a mix. I think it's a mix of the fast forward for short form content, but then you have music playing with like a work or with a voiceover too. And so it's like more work, but it's like the most like digestibly like true. It's like yeah.
I thought the long one was more magical, but I think that's because I love beads, so I wanted the information.
Yeah, I thought the longer one also was more magical because you had to work for it more from the audience, but like just the things that you said off the cuff in explaining the stuff was like really cool and funny and magical, like in that way. And my brain was having trouble processing the fast forward when you could tell you were talking, but you couldn't get the words or know the words. It kind of broke the spell for me.
Yeah, you were sharing like trade secrets almost when you were like, you want to mix different textures of beads for hair, or like you don't want all the same color for skin color. Like I was like, oh, that's so like that's good to know if I ever wanted to portrait something.
Like when you called her the garage lady, like that was funny. And like just like these little things that you said, but you wouldn't get unless you watched the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I gotta close the room because I gotta be somewhere. I don't know, Jenna. Do you want to keep it? We should close the room. Huh?
No, we should be on time.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Haskell, you're welcome to this any Thursday. Any Thursday you want to come, we're here every.
I'll email you. Maybe this was nice.
Okay, cool. Well, I can always include you in the email with the link too. All right.
And then tomorrow we're doing makeup.
Clown makeup tutorial.
Yes.
Okay. I'll need to borrow a palette.
Nice. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
All right.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye.